Karen, we're seeing that this is going to be a closely contested election in the House of Representatives. You've got 435 seats that are up for grabs. What does that look like, and why is this consequential?
Well, right now, the way that the U.S. House is made up is that it's a very slim Republican majority. And over the past couple of congressional cycles, it's been very slim majorities, whether it's Democrat or Republican. The other part is that you've also had a lot of retirements, a lot of people that are saying adios and taking something else on. But it's also the place where in the congressional seats, the House seats in particular, that's usually the next stepping stone for people like state lawmakers that are looking to seek higher office. So there's just a lot of not only turnover, but also a lot of newcomers that have come to, that are running for bigger offices. And so it's been, it's always a challenge to kind of say, okay, well, what about these newcomers? People that are coming maybe from the state assembly or state legislatures, and how do we evaluate that? And one of the ways that we've taken a look at that, talk about the key House bills that we utilized in the voter guide.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the key bills that we outlined in the voter guide, including the right to repair, EV mandates. There are actually two separate votes on EV mandates, one for the EPA's mandates and then the other for the state of California's. Additionally, we've got the Explore Act, public lands legislation that SEMA strongly supports, and then a rulemaking from the Department of Interior that would lock up public lands for conservation purposes.
All right, when it comes to the U.S. House, what are some of the tough races out there? Again, this is going to be a slim majority, one way or the other, depending on which headline you read. It's either definitely in it for the Republicans, definitely in it for the Democrats. I mean, nobody's really going to know until Election Day. But talk about some of those, like some of those races that are actually going to decide who gets to control the U.S. House.
It's a tough question, Karen, but the reality is there's probably over 30 races that will be decided by 1 point or less. Some of the top races that we're targeting and following is Austin, Ontario, up in Maine's 2nd Congressional District. This is northern Maine. The district is represented by Jared Golden. It's going to come down to the wire here. This is a Trump seat. He won it in 2020 and 2016. Will probably be strong there again. So this is a top race we're following. Another one is in the Lehigh Valley. Ryan McKenzie is running. He's in the state legislature in Pennsylvania right now, running against Susan Wild, an incumbent. This one's going to come down to the wire. It's a district that Trump lost in 2020, is expected to perform better this time around. I see this as a 1 point or less race.
So Austin, Ontario, talk a little bit more about why are we picking the challenger versus the incumbent?
Yeah, Austin is an excellent candidate. He's a former professional race car driver, has been incredible in the state legislature, really understands the issues, is passionate about it. Having a champion like that for the industry in Congress would be invaluable to the motorsports industry.
Right. And then how about California? I mean, most people already know kind of where California is going to fall when it comes to the presidential race. But, Congress, they still have members of both parties representing them in the U.S. House. So can you talk a little bit about those races?
Yeah, California has 50 races in the House of Representatives that are up. We're going to see at least 5 to 6 of them are going to be incredibly competitive. The ones we're following closely, we're looking at Ken Calvert down in the Corona area in Southern California, David Valadao in the Central Valley. Both of them are incumbent Republicans, really great allies of the industry. We're tracking those closely. Michelle Steele in Orange County is another really big one, another Republican incumbent, and Young Kim, who actually represents SEMA in the Diamond Bar area.
Great. Well, it'll definitely be an exciting election night. Anything else you'd like to add when it comes to the U.S. House races?
Buckle up. This is going to be an interesting one. I mean, we could foresee the Senate flipping from control by Democrats to Republicans, but we could also see the House flip from Republican control to Democratic control. It's anybody's guess as to what happens. I'm not bold enough to make a prediction right now, but it's going to be a small majority.
But I think probably the biggest thing we want to share with our members is the fact that it is so important to vote and especially those that are coming out to the show this year. It is so incredibly important to vote, especially in a state where you have early voting, you're able to do by absentee. It is critical, and it's easy to say, yes, I'm going to go vote, but then you get distracted. Everyday life happens, and but at the end of the day, we've all seen those races where it has come down to just a handful of votes, and there's probably a lot of people kicking themselves saying, oops.
Yeah, with over 1 million people who work in the industry, it's so important that we make our voices heard in the political discourse, and no date is more important than Election Day. There are ample opportunities,
Right.
as you said. If you're going to be out at the SEMA show, make a plan to vote ahead of time. It's so incredibly important, especially when these races, some will come down to hundreds of votes.